Welcome to the Power Foods Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Kristy Jo, a certified fitness nutrition specialist, personal trainer, and weight loss specialist. I've been teaching the Power Foods Lifestyle since 2012, which is a system of principles you can use to design your own approach to strategic eating. My hope is that you will gain confidence as the strategist of your own health as you seek to power your body. Learn more and grab some awesome stuff to help you out at powerfoodslifestyle.com, sold by Seed & Company. Welcome to episode 252, Intro to Pregnancy Nutrition. I am delighted to be back with you after about a month hiatus. I am officially through my first trimester with baby number 2, and I am delighted to be through that portion of time. I'm sure you might be pregnant if you are listening to this, and if so, hi friend. It is such a different world being pregnant, and although this second time around I feel so much more grounded, so much more knowledgeable and experienced, because that first time was just literally walking through the dark. It didn't matter what people told me. It was my first experience. And so if this is your first baby, just know that those feelings are so normal and you don't have to know anything at all. Just be open. I felt like my first pregnancy was a smashing of humble pie in my face. And so this time around, I'm just excited. I'm excited to be kinder to myself, to be full of more grace, willing to drop my expectations, and it's just a different feeling emotionally. I just want you to know first trimester worries are super normal. It's very easy to, when you're in the midst of throwing up and so nauseous and feeling like garbage, whether it's in the morning or all day. I think from my experience, most women experience that all day, including myself. And all night, come on, let's be honest. And it can be very easy to feel like when the only thing you can keep down, I know we're all different, but for me, it was things like mac and cheese, crackers, soups, pizza, like greasy, non-strategic food that I wouldn't be eating normally. Like are foods I'd never even touched normally. Top ramen, are you kidding me? That got me through like weeks 8 to 12. I think I had a bowl every day with some egg in it. And so I just want you to know if you're worried about your baby not getting the right nutrition, if you're worried about like harming your baby or things like that, I just want you to know that first trimester, it is completely about getting through it. It is about eating what you can, keeping down what you can, because there will be a time to improve that nutrition. There will be a time for you to work on the right vitamins and minerals and so forth. And even being out of the first trimester doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee the morning sickness goes away. Let's just call it the sickness, not morning sickness, because we all know it doesn't just last in the morning. For some people, it kicks in at certain times of day. And so whatever your situation is, just let's be kind to yourself if you're in that first trimester. I think the majority, or perhaps a good portion of women, do start to feel slightly better. And so with the start of the second trimester, it's not like there's this, finish line where suddenly, everything changed in my body, but you'll just notice a slow, gradual improvement, hopefully between weeks 13 to 18 or so. So end of first trimester is at the end of week 13. And so this is why I'm starting this podcast series now, is I would like to week by week go through each week of pregnancy and remind you of some important nutrition principles that will be just good as a baseline Power Foods lifestyle, but then also we'll be focusing on 1 or 2 additional vitamins or minerals that can be super helpful and giving you that extra motivation to perhaps create more variety in your diet, to try some new foods. And so hopefully it'll just be more of an exciting adventure rather than something where you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do this or else I'm not doing it right. Like that's the last thing I want to do, because I'm going to say it right now, even in spite of everything I'm going to say over the next however many weeks until my baby comes, it's not going to be perfect. We're going to learn together. We're going to educate ourselves, and then we're going to go about doing our best. And we're going to have some inspiration, and we're going to have a little more knowledge, and that's it. No expectations, just doing our best, okay? Now, back in 2014, I published a little booklet called Power Foods for Two, a lifestyle for the pregnant woman. This is still available on Kindle on Amazon. It's under my maiden name, Kristy Jo Hunt. So if you search, you'll probably be able to find that. I just want to read to you this section called Power Foods Lifestyle Principles Adapted. So whether you're a first-time listener here at Power Foods Lifestyle or you've been with me for a long time, you know a lot of the PFL, let's just go through this together. And I'm probably going to have lots of side commentary because I am now I've been through pregnancy, whereas when I wrote this in 2014, I had not yet been a mother. There are many myths regarding how much a woman should consume during her pregnancy. Many people love to poke fun at the phrase, "I'm eating for two," as they picture a woman holding a package of Oreos in one hand and slurping down a chocolate frosted milkshake in another. While that sounds like a dream, until that baby's born and you're dealing with the excess body fat, haphazard eating with this type of an excuse is just asking for all kinds of problems, both for you and for the cute little baby inside of you. I'm going to add a Kristy caveat. Here we go. There is absolutely a time and a place for that emotional remedy of the Oreos and the chocolate frosted milkshake. Do we want to minimize that type of eating? Do we want to control our portions? Yes. But I don't think we should be I don't want to be zealotous about being only power foods and stuff like that, because I'm certainly not. Pregnancy is a time that there's so many emotions, there's so much going on beyond what we even are aware of. And sometimes it is straight up coping, whether you're uncomfortable, whether you're stressed, whether it's financial reasons, relationship, work. I mean, there's a lot of change going on, especially if you are a first-time mom. There is so much happening, and I'm just going to throw this out there. There is a TED Talk on matrescence, and I really gained a lot of value from that when I watched that as I became a mother, because that was a big shift on an identity level. And it wasn't like a one-day thing. It was a long, I would say about 8-month process, from about a month before the baby came, when I was like, holy crap, this is actually happening. Like, I am about to be a mother. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be responsible for this human. And it suddenly hit me, and I suddenly became terrified. Like, can I do this? Am I cut out for the job? Am I going to be good enough? Like, I don't know anything about babies. Like, my first baby was 32 years old, and I was like, I've held babies. I don't know if I know how to change a diaper. And, I just really stressed out. But anyway, that was a really, really important TED Talk that I watched. Back to the book. Now, I know that I've never been pregnant, so I'm not speaking to you from a pragmatic set of experience. Instead, I am speaking to you as a sounding board, a guide, and a coach. I hope to help you think about your mindset as you are embarking down this journey of your pregnancy and analyze your mind throughout the duration of this time. No one can tell you to do something you don't want to do, but perhaps you might think deeply into the fact that you have been blessed with a body capable of housing a tiny growing infant that will become a human being. That soon-to-be human being has no control over the circumstances that dictate the body he or she will receive, only you. This is your chance to give the most selfless gift a human can give, the gift of life. It may take more effort for you to open your mind and heart to treat this baby, and both yours and his or her body, with absolute respect. But I know you can do it. You can bring your personal power at this time and develop great mental strength and discipline. Take a deep breath and exhale slowly. Seek to fill your mind and heart with only positive thoughts, energy beams of light and happiness that can fill your body in the space in which your little one is developing. I'm a huge believer in energy fields and the positive or negatively charged fields we allow to be in our surroundings. As you seek to eliminate any strand of negativity from your mind and replace it with a positive thought, you will find the minutes, hours, and days of your life filled with more joy and light. How can you remember to focus on the positive when there is a lot of negativity in your mind? It all begins with keeping reminders for your desires to be positive at the forefront of your mind. You might do this through leaving sticky notes in key places, your bathroom mirror, car dashboard, or refrigerator door. You may also decide to set a recurring task on your to-do list that pops up every day, or set an alarm on your phone for peak week hours or the times during the day that you feel you are habitually at your lowest. For many people, this is in the early afternoon and the late evening. Those are times you need to remind yourself to be positive. I'm asked quite often by pregnant women how they can keep their focus during their pregnancy. It seems very simple to think, well, I'm done for. I'm guaranteed to gain weight, gain roundness, and feel uncomfortable for the next X number of months. Why even try? I think this thought has to cross the mind of nearly every pregnant woman, and I really don't blame you. Kristy, insert, for me, yep, absolutely. It's like, well, I'm guaranteed to gain weight. I want to just enjoy myself and just deal with it. Back to the book, pregnancy is a beautiful part of life, but these feelings of the discomfort, fear of how you'll look, pain, etc. can definitely push your mind into realms where caring for your health can perhaps seem pointless. Please don't lose yourself in this process. Please don't give up mentally. The strength of a warrior is that of one who pushes through the deepest snowstorms, climbs the highest mountains, and swims the strongest currents. You will become a warrior and a champion through this process because you will put in the effort every day. This mental resolve will define you and be your own personal refiner's fire. Put just as much effort into cultivating and refining your mind as you do caring for your body. Therein lies the motivation and desire to continue making wise choices. Now, in this booklet that I am reading from, I interviewed Liz Smith, my midwife friend and consultant. When she meets with a client, she schedules for an hour as the first 30 minutes is spent talking about nutrition, which she says is 90% of the outcome of any pregnancy. Her knowledge and experience is shared in this booklet, and it helps clarify some of the Power Foods lifestyle principles that I regularly teach. She says, doctors hardly talk about nutrition. Some, not all, might give out a little booklet when you first come into your appointment. We do have things called genetics, environment, and structural problems, like the baby twisting on its cord, that we don't have control over. But nutrition will determine the majority of any pregnancy's outcome. Now, with that said, I want to throw in there, I felt I did really incredible with my nutrition in my first pregnancy from about week 15 onward. Did I have treats occasionally here or there? Yeah. Did I eat a little bit more than I could have? Yeah. Did I gain the majority of my excess body fat in trimester 1 because I ate a lot of junky, greasy, non-strategic food to get me through? Absolutely. Did I end up having a C-section? Yes. I wanted to have an unmedicated natural delivery, and unfortunately my baby was a breech. And we tried an ECV, external cephalic version, which is basically where the doctor tries to manually flip the baby, and I will tell you it was more painful than labor. It was awful, and it was unsuccessful. And 2 days later, my water broke 3 days before my scheduled C-section, and an hour later we had Aaliyah here. And it took a little bit of acceptance of my story, but at this point, I'm just so grateful. Grateful for how she got here. I always tell people she came through the sunroof. She's just very flamboyant like that. She just wanted to make her entry in a unique way. So I just want you to be careful that you don't create, if this is your first time baby, any expectation or even attach bias to how the baby comes, whether or not you're able to breastfeed, all those things. Like, yeah, we know what would be ideal, but you have to really create space for it not being ideal. Because if you don't create that space, it's going to create a lot of emotional hardship for yourself. So I just want to encourage you to keep an open mind with that. And that includes all of this nutrition stuff. Like, let's say you're not perfect with your nutrition and then something goes not according to plan towards the end of your pregnancy or with delivery or after or something, with your baby. I don't want you to attach blame or guilt to that because we have no evidence or data that is able to put absolute causation on your nutrition. Do we want to do our absolute best? Yes. Do we want to learn more? Yes. But is this a place to create guilt and shame? Absolutely not. Okay, have I railed on that enough? I wanted to share some tips for dealing with sickness and fatigue that worked for me. I know that we are all so very different, but the tip that you've probably heard of eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, like smaller snacks instead of meals, that's been a long time basic Power Foods lifestyle principle, unless you're doing an alternative meal timing. It is absolutely crucial for me personally dealing with the nausea. I throw up a lot between weeks 7 to 9 or even 6 to 9. And then I'm able to keep the nausea at bay. So I always would tell my husband on a daily basis, like on a scale of 1 to 10, 9 or 10 is like I'm going to be sitting in front of the toilet. A 7 or an 8 is I'm just going to sit on the couch and I don't want to move because if I do, I'm going to get nauseous. If I'm under a 6, it's like, okay, it's all right. Like I'm going to be able to do that stuff, but I'm still feeling it. And if it's under a 4, it's like, okay, we're good. And so that was helpful to be able to communicate how I was feeling on a scale level with him. And for him to be able to have some sense of understanding instead of it being black or white, like, yes, I'm nauseous or no, I'm not. So I don't know if that's helpful too, but that was really helpful for us. Another thing for me, ginger didn't work. I tried the tea, I tried the chews, hated them. Ew, barf, that made me more nauseous. Making sure I stayed hydrated, that was really difficult in first trimester. And so I had to use a lot of True Lime or True Lemon, natural water flavor enhancers. That really helped me drink a little bit more water. And because I always had dry lips, I live in Utah, it's dry here anyway, but in addition to not being hydrated, my skin got so dry, my lips got so chapped, just flaking, and then I bite them and then they bleed and it was awful. And so try to make sure you're drinking enough water. I keep saltines right by my bed at night, and I don't even care how bad this is as far as the dentist goes, but I would just suck on those until I fell asleep at night. If I woke up in the middle of the night, which was constant during first trimester, I had them right there. A lot of times I make homemade bread a lot, and so I would go and make some toast. Whether it was not buttered or whether it was buttered, it was the same for me. I like it either way. Breakfast eggs seem to help a lot. Eggs with cheese, like scrambled eggs. Getting a little bit of protein in first thing in the morning helped. Unfortunately, I was not able to stomach an actual protein shake or drink during first trimester. And so while that sounds like a good idea to keep more protein in you, that just never worked for me. And so trying to keep some hamburger or some chicken, cottage cheese was helpful. I like to mix salsa with the cottage cheese and added some diced up avocado or black beans. And I used that as a dip with wheat thins or saltines or baked crackers from Costco. So those were some of my go-tos. Another thing is I continued teaching dance twice a week during my first trimester. It was awful, but I was able to do it. And in between every single class, which they're about 60 to 90 minutes long, even if I had a 2-minute break, I would stuff food in my mouth, whether it was half a banana, whether it was some goldfish crackers, some wheat thins, saltines, you name it, anything crackery, carby, light, like that really, really helped a lot. And it's something I would eat because I'd always feel nauseous at the end of class and just, oh, so gross. But I found it never sounded good to me. Like I did not want to eat it. And it is almonds, raw almonds with olives. And these are power fats in the Power Foods lifestyle. But I found I forced myself, because I usually drive about 15 to 20 minutes home from either of the 2 studios I teach at currently. If I forced myself to eat those and just didn't think about it and just said, you don't have a choice, you're eating these, I always felt better. Always. And I walked in the house not feeling nauseous, and my husband had made some dinner. And so I was able to, have some actual food in my stomach then. So that was really good. I want to read from the booklet on morning sickness what the midwife Liz says. She says, it's my theory that there is a specific reason for nausea in pregnancy. It tends to keep us away from foods and chemicals that are bad for the baby, as the time of early pregnancy is the most crucial. The first trimester is when the egg is implanting, and a lot of things can go wrong to cause birth defects and other problems. Morning sickness impacts 66% of women for 33% of their pregnancy. 1/3 of women suffer from mild nausea, another 1/3 suffers from moderate to severe nausea, and the other 1/3 hardly experience nausea at all. Lucky them, right? Liz herself has been through morning sickness with 9 pregnancies of her own and agrees it is very unpleasant. But as a midwife, she says, I like it when someone tells me they're sick because then I'm pretty sure they have a good baby. This is not to cause alarm in women who do not experience morning sickness, but to help those who do experience it and to be comforted. It usually lasts from 6 to 14 weeks, coming on suddenly and increasing in intensity for the first 4 weeks, she says. The nausea will then top out but stay level for around 4 weeks. All of a sudden, it will drop off as quickly as it came on. I'm going to say from my personal experience, I am feeling so much better. I'm 14 and a half weeks right now. And yes, I still have to make sure I eat on time. But even last night I taught dance and I had some yogurt with kiwi, banana, and apple and almonds and oats. Sorry, that was it was like a kind of smoothie parfait on my way to dance at 4:30. And I had a Nature Valley granola bar in between my classes at 7, and driving home at 9, I actually felt pretty good. My husband had made a big chicken pot pie. Oh my gosh, it's his latest thing. He's so good at them now, and they're so delicious and a million times healthier than the store-bought kind. So he had that ready to eat when I got home, and it was great. So I definitely am noticing in week 14, I am able to go a little bit longer without eating, and I'm not about to barf out the window. If you're one of the 66% of women who ends up experiencing morning sickness, you're throwing up like crazy and nothing sounds good, right? You just can't even think. And people ask you, well, what do you want to eat? And you're like, I can't even think about food. I always would tell my husband, give me 2 choices. I cannot even begin to muster the thought to create an idea right now. And so he got really good at saying, do you want this or this? And if it was neither, I'd say neither. And then I say, give me 2 more choices. I don't know. You will have both good days and bad days during which you seem to have a better handle on the nausea. On the bad days, how on earth are you supposed to focus on eating power foods for you and your growing baby? What you're about to hear may seem counterintuitive to this entire ebook, but it's true, and this goes along with what I was saying earlier. Liz says, you basically have to throw out the whole nutrition idea when you have nausea because you need to eat whatever you can keep down. If you can only keep Pringles or grilled cheese sandwiches down and everything comes up, eat Pringles and grilled cheese sandwiches. It's better than not eating anything. I tell the women I work with to stop stressing about it. It can be easy to stress about nutrition when this entire book is revolving around you and your growing baby's health. However, it is more important to have a top-notch approach to your nutrition and fitness at the time you get pregnant. Your body will rely on that programming and level of functioning in the first 3 months of your pregnancy. One of the best things a woman can do when trying to get pregnant is to take prenatal vitamins and focus on the nutrition principles I've outlined in this and Power Foods Lifestyle books. As with the PFL principle, be sure to get protein first thing in the morning. Liz says, toss the crackers and get protein in you. It gives you a good foundation. You can have your crackers later. As a reminder, don't let your stomach get empty. The last thing you'll want to do when you're nauseous is eat, and that is the most important thing to do. I have a memory of my younger sister being pregnant. This was before I ever had my first baby many years ago. Like 8 maybe. And we were at my mom's house and she was just feeling so sick. And my mom cut like a 1 ounce slice of cheddar cheese from a block she had in the fridge. And my sister was like, no, I can't, I don't want to. My mom said, eat it. I don't care. And so of course we do what mom says. Mom has had 7 kids of her own. And so she ate it. And a few minutes later, she's like, oh, I feel better. Thanks. And sometimes we just need to be told what to do, right? It's so hard if we're trying to do it ourselves. And so if you have a support person in your life, it can be helpful to, give them some directive of how they can help you, what they should put in front of you, when they should be a little more demanding or not. So again, I'm sure you're listening to this maybe after your first trimester, but who knows? Liz recommends that women do not take the anti-nausea drugs that doctors readily prescribe. She says, anytime you take a drug, there will be side effects. Do not take any drugs unless you have researched them thoroughly. Even still, there is no guarantee that using a drug will be safe for you and your baby. Alternatives to drugs that may be very helpful in managing your nausea include the following: Jamaican ginger ale, liquid acidophilus, Nux vomica and ipecac, I don't even know how to say that, B12 and B6 combination shots, C-bands, and fresh cold air. Now, another thing you probably have heard of is the Unisum and B6 combination. I definitely did that through my first trimester. I never felt like it actually helped me with my nausea, but it definitely helped me get to sleep, as I really struggled to get to sleep and stay asleep. But then I started having very terrifying nightmares and even some hallucinations, and I immediately cut out the Unisum and they have stopped. And so I don't get to sleep as quickly anymore. I relied on Unisum a lot during my first pregnancy all the way through 3rd trimester to sleep, especially when I got so uncomfortable. So I'm a little nervous about that, but those hallucinations were not worth it. It was very scary. Yeah. I also wanted to mention that my first pregnancy, I did not take any anti-nausea medications. This time around, I did a little bit of research on Zofran, and I ended up, and my doctor prescribed it to me. I was nervous, but I did end up taking it a few times, like I think between week 7 and 10. And I found that taking one every 3 days, just when I was just feeling like I was dying, that it did help. So I think all in all, I took 4 pills and have the rest of the prescription left. So anyway, I felt good about that based on my research on what I felt my needs were and coping. And so that's really what drug category C is, which is what Zofran was. It's known, there's known problems in animal studies, and you should only take it if the benefit outweighs the risk. And something that I just came across in my research was, the dosage in the animal studies where problems arose. I just took note of that, and perhaps that is what led me to take it every few days. Anyway, do your own research there. Nobody should tell you what to do or what works, because you have to feel good about what you're doing. Okay, really quickly, I just want to talk about body image, because I know that, this first trimester through, until your bump is super pronounced. For me, my bump was really pronounced around week 20. Like, it was obvious I was pregnant. And I know that's going to be different depending on our starting weight. And I am in a pregnancy Facebook group right now where there's a lot of plus size women, and it is heart-wrenching to hear obviously not all of them, but I've seen a few posts where it's sad that they can't see that bump as pronounced, and it doesn't feel as cute in all this, and just some of the comparison. And so if you're in that boat, just know that my heart is with you, and I'm sure that's hard, but no matter where we're at with our weight, with our body image, let's just work to navigate where we are personally at. Some recommendations that I really advocate for, of course, with myself and everybody else: unfollow, get everyone out of your life, especially online where you have control over what you see. Get them out of your life. If it makes you feel you should be a certain way, or you're comparing, we are all so different. My goodness, comparison is a tool of the devil. And if you notice yourself getting triggered, just hit the unfollow button or mute. It's really easy to mute stories. and posts on both Instagram and Facebook. So definitely just make life easier for yourself that way. I'd highly recommend not clicking on too many pregnancy ads, because then you are a target for all the algorithms of the internet to put every pregnant thing in front of you. I bought so much stuff on Instagram and Facebook for my first baby that I didn't end up needing, just because it was that exciting time. I'm going to be a mom. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And after doing my research later, I was like, okay, I way overpaid for that. It's not the best quality. And I never even used it. It was stupid. So just be careful about that. And then my final piece of recommendation here is don't look at pregnancy as one big task. Let's break it down into months and weeks. Look at the month ahead of you and come up with 5 outfits you feel good in, or what staples you might need to complete your wardrobe. I am a very frugal spender. Unless I'm buying stupid baby purchases on Instagram and Facebook, like my first pregnancy. So with that said, I'm just going to throw this out there, and I'm not trying to I don't know, maybe I am justifying some of these recommendations. Maybe I am still a little bit self-conscious, or I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm still trying to work through that. But I am definitely working on a financial journey. Our family, if you guys have heard of the Choose FI podcast, it's about financial independence and really maximizing your financial awareness and things like that. Dave Ramsey, I'm a big fan of him. So anyway, that's kind of my view of life. I like to minimize my spending. I like to put it in places that actually matter, in my opinion. So anyway, I personally don't spend more than $50 a month on my clothing. I utilize places like TJ Maxx, Ross, or yes, absolutely secondhand stores, unless there's a really special occasion I need something for. So that's just my general philosophy about clothes. I'm going to give you permission not to spend a fortune in finding solutions. I'll tell you what, Ross and TJ Maxx have fantastic maternity clothes. Unless you're some fashionista that just really has to keep up with everybody and you find a lot of value in being the influencers of the internet. Okay, you do you, sweetheart, but I don't know if we're going to be great friends. I really value maximizing where you get the things that really matter, and put your money and time where there's a lot of value, and looking inside and saying, why do I do what I do? Am I trying to impress someone? Am I trying to cover up an insecurity? Am I trying to compete? What is it? Why do I do what I do? It's a really important question. I feel like that can help us, again, with the body image comparison, with just loving where we're at, being so thankful for our bodies, what they're able to do, watching them shift in curiosity and amazement rather than judgment or frustration or anger. I hope that is a good way to start out this podcast series with you. I will be uploading an episode each week. I'll do my best. I may not be perfect, but let's do this together. Such a blessing to be pregnant. I hope that everything is going well for you in your pregnancy. I hope that you are loving this sweet little spirit that will soon be a part of your family. And don't forget to tell it, he or she, how much you love them. Let them hear you say it over and over and over, and how much they're wanted. I really believe that. Each of these spirits needs to know we want them. Yeah. All right, my friends. Later today is my gender appointment. It's actually in 2 hours. I am freaking out. Oh, I know it sounds a little bit early, 14 and a half weeks, but my doctor was super confident about it. Last time I had mine done at 16 weeks. So I feel like it's a boy. I really do. I have been craving red meat and lots of meat and just savory stuff. I've had zero desire for sugar over the past first trimester. I don't know, it's just felt different than my first one, which was a girl, so we shall see. I'll keep you posted. Lastly, if you'd like to follow my journey, I do my weekly updates on Sundays, as that's my rollover day to the next week. And I try not to overpost because, gag me when you see more than 10 bars at the top of someone's story. I don't consider myself an influencer at all. I'm just a real life human sharing my story. And I just appreciate the awesome small women tribe that I have there, and the support and answering my questions and supporting me. It's so cool. So if you're a cool woman and gonna be mama, come join me. It's over at pregnancyjourney_KJ. If you scroll back in time, you'll see my weekly posts from my first pregnancy, and then I have each week saved as a highlight. And so you'll just see first pregnancy stacked behind with second pregnancy. And it's just a fun journey that I'm excited to have as many babies as the Lord will bless me with posted on this account, and watching the journey of the body and the mind. All right, friends, thanks for being here. Hope this was helpful to you. If you ever need to reach me, I'm available at powerfoodslifestyle@gmail.com. Power your body, one meal, one workout, one day at a time.